And let's begin. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lynn Williams of thewomanexec.com. I thank you for taking a few moments to view this webinar, to join me this afternoon. I know your time is very valuable, so I will make sure that what I give you is worth your time and effort. I believe it's something very important to the success and of your marketing and your business. I wouldn't take up your time if I didn't think this was important, so let's just get started and go right into the presentation. As a thank you for spending some time with me, hanging out with me for a little while, I have a special gift for you. At the end of the webinar, I will share 3 little tips that you can use to help your marketing presence and responses and help you with some things that you maybe didn't even know you needed help with. We're going to spend a little time talking about Facebook and the problem it has with its current technological challenge, and I'm going to tie that into how it affects you as well. This is something you may not know about, so stay tuned and we'll get right to it. Our webinar is entitled Facebook Isn't Bulletproof, and Neither Are You, and that's for a reason. You'll see why in just a minute. You may have already heard, but in case you haven't, Facebook is under siege. That's right. The Vikings and barbarians are charging the gates and scaling the walls. Now you're wondering just who are these brave internet warriors that are giving Facebook so much grief? Well, they are LinkedIn, Foursquare, Clout, Google, Pinterest, and literally several hundred others. Now we've all heard about Facebook's plummeting stock values. And we know that their investors are very nervous because they're all wondering if Facebook is going to be able to solve its huge technology problem in time to stay dominant in the market. And you may be wondering, what triggered this all-out assault on the king? Well, the answer is smartphones. Yeah, smartphones. Can you believe it? Smartphones are the reason why Facebook is having so much trouble with its technology, which is affecting its funding, or its revenue, which is affecting its investors' bottom lines. You see, the problem is Internet shoppers are not able to access and browse the Facebook ads properly, or any ads properly for that matter, and users can't do their shopping on their phones, which has become a big thing these days. So they're flocking to other social media sites in droves to do their Internet shopping. And what this means is that Facebook is not only losing shoppers, but it's losing revenue along with it. So where do all of these people seem to be going? Well, the vast majority are going to Pinterest. Pinterest. You heard about that little guy called Pinterest? You know, the social network that was really put together to make it easier for people to share photographs amongst friends and families. Well, Pinterest has become the new hottest thing on the internet. According to HubSpot.com, Pinterest is the hottest newcomer to the social networking scene. And recently, Com.Score reported that Pinterest has seen a 4,377% plus growth increase between May 2011 and 2012. Now that's unprecedented for any social network. The report also found that Pinterest users buy more online than any other social media buyer. So this is a real problem for Facebook and everybody else. So hey, look out, Facebook. They're breathing down your neck. Oops, moved just a little bit too fast. Let's go back one. Now, the smartphone issue with Facebook has exposed a crack in Facebook's armor. And the question is, who's going to crawl through that crack and fill the gap? Well, so far, Facebook doesn't have a solution, and smartphone users are continuing to defect to other networks. So who's going to be the next ruler of the web? Well, we don't know yet. In the fast-paced world of technology, it could be anybody. Just a few short years ago, it was all about MySpace. Everything you heard was MySpace, MySpace. Now you hardly hear about them at all. So who is the front runner? Who's poised to be the next king of the hill? Well, there's LinkedIn, and most people know about them, but most people don't take them as seriously as they should as far as a social network or a network for business. But LinkedIn has over 160 million members, so they are a force to be reckoned with, and they should not be overlooked, especially for business owners. And that's because LinkedIn members are mostly entrepreneurs and professionals with higher and more spendable per capita incomes. So depending on your product or service, it could be your gold mine. And so the question is, are you mining it, or is someone else? And then there's Foursquare and Cloud and Google Plus and Netlog and StumbleUpon, just to name a few. But there are literally hundreds of others. And that brings us back to the new kid on the block, that little guy called Pinterest, or maybe the not-so-little guy called Pinterest. Most people hadn't even heard of Pinterest until about 6 months ago. I know I hadn't. But now they are a power player. In fact, it was Pinterest that inspired Facebook to adopt its new timeline format. You know, that new format we all love so much? Yeah, you can blame that on Pinterest. So what's the point of all of this? What does this have to do with you? Well, it has everything to do with you because you need to be where everyone is going before they get there. And where's everybody going? Well, it doesn't really matter as long as you're there when they arrive. So the big question is, are you already there? Are you already registered on Pinterest or Foursquare or YouTube? Oh, and by the way, every business should have its own YouTube channel simply because it's the greatest way to get information out to people, to your market. Plus, because Google owns YouTube, it's a very sensitive SEO and Panda and Penguin search engine sensitive social network. It helps you to improve your positioning on Google. It helps your SEO visibility. It does a lot of things. So having your own YouTube channel will really help your placement on the web. And then there are the other social networks like Google+, Cloud, LinkedIn, Yelp, Yext, StumbleUpon, PhotoBucket, Flickr, Dig, Congregate, Netlog, and a whole bunch of others. As I mentioned, there are over 300 social networks that people are using today. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing to consider. Are you an author? Do you have an ebook? Do you have a Kindle ebook? Well, do you have an author's page on Amazon.com? Did you even know you could have one? Well, you can, and you should. But how many of you have already created one? And we'll get back to that in a little while. That's a very critical issue too, especially if you have products or books on Amazon.com. But let's talk about that in a minute. Right now, let's talk about the basics. Let's assume you are already registered on at least 5 of the networks I mentioned. The next question is, are your profiles standardized? In other words, are they current? Are they the same across the platforms? And how will your clients and customers be sure they're dealing with the real you if one site says one thing and another site says something else? They may get confused, and most often the confused mind says no. But we can address that in a few minutes too. There are ways to connect them, but we'll get to that. But worse still, what if another company with your same name registers their profile before you do? And what if this other company has a questionable reputation or business practice? Well, hey, don't laugh. Don't laugh, because it's already happened to other companies. And it could happen to you. So with so many possibilities for infringements, conflicts, and confusion, how are you protecting your integrity and that of your business brand? How do you ensure that the only one using your name and brand on the web is you? So let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of cyber squatting? Well, cyber squatting is when someone other than you uses or owns your brand or company name on the web. And it happens way more often than you think, usually when a company or person is in another state. But if you already have your profiles registered on the major social sites and you've claimed your vanity and business names on Facebook, you're probably okay. But I just say probably. But if you haven't, you could be in for quite a ride. Now here's what could happen if you find yourself caught in a cyber squatter's web. Most businesses only have their company or brands registered on maybe 3 or 4 of the most popular networks like Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and maybe YouTube, and maybe Yelp. That's pretty common. And some are on Pinterest now since it's become so big, and then there's Netlog and Clout and Foursquare and maybe StumbleUpon, but the rest are pretty much open. And if you are registered on 5 or 6 of the ones I just mentioned, then congratulations. You've done a great job. But the truth is, you need to do better. Think about what will happen if another company or with a similar name or registers their brand on one of the social sites where you're not registered, and that network becomes the new king of the hill as Pinterest is poised to. Actually, you may already have a big problem. You won't be able to use your business name or brand, and depending on the size of your business, that could be catastrophic. So let's take a few examples and look and see what can happen to you if you're not properly registered and protected on the web. Case study number 1. It's a 25-year-old well-established beauty salon and supply store in Orange County, California. For many years, it was a very successful business, but in recent years, because of the economy and several other things, sales got slow, so the owner decided it was time to take her products online. With over $500,000 in products for sale in her store, she could easily fill additional orders for her local customers and the new presence she hoped to establish on the internet nationwide and even internationally. So she hired a web designer. But as often happens, the project stalled and it was never completed. But she waited too long to find a new designer. She was busy with the business, and she let her domain name expire. Now that was problem number 1. Next, she decided, well, let's go and build a fan page. One of her employees was kind of tech savvy and volunteered to do it for her. Sounded like a great idea at the time, but before he finished it, unfortunately, he was laid off. And in retaliation, he wouldn't give her the Facebook ID and password information, so she couldn't access the fan page to continue building. So she had to start all over with a new name. Problem number 2. So in frustration, she asked me if I could help her out, and I said, well, let me take a look and see what's going on. Well, I discovered that someone else had already taken her domain name, so she couldn't have that. That meant that not only could she not build her website, but now she had to come up with a new name because someone else in another state had registered the name for their store and website. Then I looked at creating the new fan page for her. Well, unfortunately, someone in another state had already claimed her vanity name, the one that she wanted to use, and what made this so terrible for her was that the other person was a young woman who was using the name for her homemade beauty and makeup tip videos, not a real professional businesswoman at all. So when customers go online to look for her store on the web, they find another store in another state. And when they go to look for her on Facebook, they find this other young lady with the homemade video tips. Not good. So she's working on some other alternatives, but she's really struggling with the solutions, and it's caused a nightmare because right now she doesn't have a website, she doesn't have a fan page that's functioning, and she lost all of the existing fans that she had on her other page. So let's take a look at case study number 2. Now this one's a big one. This is a fun one. Well, not so much for Nissan Motor Company, but it's a fun one because it's a very good example of cyber squatting, a real David versus Goliath story, except that you would think that Nissan Motor Company would be the one that's trying to get rid of the squatter. But the truth of the matter is Nissan Computer Company owns the name legitimately, and Nissan Motor Company is the squatter. Yep. You never know how things are going to turn out. What happened in this story? Now, there's 2 links at the bottom. One is www.digest.com, big story. That's the actual story of what happened between Nissan Motor Company and Nissan Computer Company. Digest.com/people is the story of what's happening. It's like 500 pages of consumers and people voicing their opinions about Nissan Motor Company picking on the little guy who happens to be Nissan Computer Company. The story goes like this. Way back in the 80s when Nissan Motor Company was still known as Datsun, now that may be news to some of you, but they were, D-A-T-S-U-N, they were known as Datsun. And this was before the internet became the big thing it is today, and they were doing fine. But when they decided to move their presence on the internet and rebrand themselves, they wanted the name Nissan.com. Much to their dismay, when they went to register their domain, a little guy named Sam Nissan, who happens to live in Israel, had already registered his company under Nissan.com because his company is called the Nissan Computer Company. And he has a legitimate claim because his name is Sam Nissan. Well, Nissan Motor Company wouldn't take it lying down, so they decided to sue this guy. And that's what started the big brouhaha with people complaining or, bashing Nissan Motor Company for picking on this little guy in Israel who just wants to make a living doing computer software. So like I said, you can read that story. It's a lot to it, so just take your time when you get a chance. Look at the bottom of the event page. There's a link there. 2 links will be there so you can find it. Case study number 3. This is a mistaken identity investigation that caused a business branding nightmare for another well-established California company. This company's name is Lighthouse Real Estate Solutions, and I know about this story personally because I actually worked for them several years ago before all this happened. But when I found out about this, I was just like, wow, because Lighthouse had been around for 10 years. They had a very stellar reputation. They were very conscious of their image and did a lot to preserve it. Then one day, and they've been in business for about 10 years, maybe a little longer than that. One day, about a year and a half or so ago, they get this cease and desist order from the Attorney General in the state of Georgia. Apparently, there was another company. Now, Lighthouse is not an uncommon name. There are a lot of companies around the country that have the name Lighthouse, and several of them are in the real estate industry. So it wasn't hard to understand how this happened. But anyway, they got a cease and desist order from the Attorney General in Georgia telling them to stop doing business in Georgia because of fraudulent business practices. Well, to surprise to them, now Lighthouse was doing business nationwide, but they would never do anything fraudulent. So they had to get their lawyers on the case, and after some legal wrangling and a lot of money to pay the lawyers to figure out what was going on, they discovered that there was another company doing business in Georgia by the name of Lighthouse Mortgage something or other. And this company had indeed been doing some questionable mortgages and for foreclosure homeowners, and they were the ones that were actually in violation of the law, and they were the company that the Attorney General was trying to shut down. But in their haste to stop these people from doing business, the Attorney General made a mistake of accusing Lighthouse Real Estate Solutions in Orange County, and they were the ones that were served the papers. So as a result of all the questionable, all the stigma attached with the name, they decided to completely rebrand themselves. So they had to create a brand new website. They had to replace all of their marketing campaigns and materials, including business, postcards or business cards and letterheads and everything. I mean, everything, including their logos. And they had to launch a brand new promotional campaign to announce the changes to all of their clients and customers across the country in order to detach and distance themselves from the stigma of the fraud and mortgage, the legal action in Georgia. Now they're doing fine, they're back up and everything, but it was a nightmare and it took a while for them to get things untangled. Imagine if that had been you. Now according to Yext.com, 20% of the local search sites, that's like Yahoo, Google Maps, Yelp, all of those local business listing services, they contain the wrong information about companies like yours, and that's not good for your business. And all you have to do is search your company's name, and you may find, to your surprise, you are listed on some of these sites, because for some of these places, all you have to do is establish your address, and reviewers, clients, customers can go out and say things about you. And if you're not monitoring them, you don't know what they're saying, you can have some bad press out there, and you don't even know it. Now, this company, Yext.com, has a business listing service. They call them power listings. And for a certain amount of money, they will create a business listing for you. They offer a basic package of 10 locations where they will register your profile, create a business listing, which it can be kind of extensive. I mean, they can add pictures and video and everything, but they bill you annually for the monthly service. And as you can see, you can buy each one, like Yahoo's 200 and Yelp is 150 and blah, 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 so forth and so on. But if you total up the number for all of these listings, it's going to cost you over $1,440 a year. Now, that total is at the bottom of this page, which got caught off, you know, what PowerPoint can do. And I'm sorry about that. But it is, if you add up these numbers on the right, the power listing package total comes to $1,440, and that's just for business listings. Doesn't include the social media networks, so you're just getting a limited exposure. But they do have a 50% off discount, and that is this package. You buy 10 of the top 10 package listings, and they'll give you half off, which is a very generous discount. It really is. But when it only includes the business listing services and not the social networks, it can get kind of pricey. So you save $720 a year, but you also spend $720 a year. And like I said, they're not monitoring and reporting on bad press or any, conflicts or things that you should address. So unless you're out there keeping an eye on things, you can have some issues happening for you. I discovered this for the business owner, the beauty salon owner. She has a Yelp listing, but when I started scrolling through the reviews, she has some really bad negatives out there. There's several that need to be addressed. She didn't know they were there. So they've been out there for now a couple of years, and she's wondering why her business is falling. Now, you can go to yext.com and sign up for their service and pay their fees, and, you may think it's a cheaper approach, but the fact that you don't get the monitoring and you don't get the the social network coverage, it actually costs you a lot more. So you're asking, is there an alternative? Is there a service that will give you the social network coverage and the business listing coverage and protection? Of course there is. Absolutely there is. You can have all of that and more. You can have your social network profiles and business listings set up and properly registered on the major social networks and listing services so that your company name and brand are protected locally, nationwide, and internationally. Because remember, if you claim it first, then no one else can, and that way your business name, brand, and integrity and your future will be protected. Now, according to a little thing called Moore's Law, like Peter Principle and Murphy's Law, well, there's a Moore's Law for the Internet, and it says that technology is moving fast. It says that the cyberscape evolves about every 18 months, and the amount of information and resources doubles. So with that kind of activity and fast-moving technology, how on earth can you, the business owner, possibly keep up with it? And well, truthfully, you can't, because it's very time-consuming. And if you spend all your time out trying to see what people are saying or keeping up with who's on first and who's not, well, you won't have much time to run your business. But that's where we come in. We're the service that can do it all for you. And in addition to setting up your profiles and providing the business listing services, we will research the cyberscape to see where you need to establish or update your profiles. Then we can register your business and brand on up to 15 of the top social networks and listings, depending on your needs. We will create new profiles where necessary and standardize your information on existing profiles. Having profiles on all of these sites that include your website link will also create legitimate internet presences for backlinks to your websites, and this will increase your SEO visibility, which is a great thing because it's all about your position on Google when somebody searches for you. Our research will also expose breaches and conflicts with cyber squatters so that you can decide on a plan of action and address these issues promptly. Being proactive is way cheaper than being reactive. I'll repeat that. Being proactive is way cheaper than being reactive, and it will help you avoid a business disaster in the future. So that brings us to what we can do for you to help protect your business brand and your presence on the web and make sure that you are the only one that's using your name and brand, or to help you figure out who else might be already there and how to deal with it. We have a special webinar-only package. I created it just for you, and it's only available through this webinar, and this is called our Social Media Facebook Update. And like I said, it's only available, and it's a limited number of packages because I can't give away the whole business, but I wanted to address this one particularly for you new business owners who may have a small budget but still need the protection and have the presence on the web so that you can get off to the right foot and make sure that everything is okay as you move forward. In this package, we give you a free business presence analysis report. That's where we go out and search the cyberscape and see who has your name or where you are or are not registered. We will register and update your business brand profile on 10 of the major social networks and business listing sites. And even though this leaves some others open, as you grow and start to become more profitable, we can add new ones later on. But it gets you on the big ones and make sure that you're safe, at least from the start. We can create and update the about information on your fan page too if necessary. We will claim your Facebook vanity name. Now what that is some of you who have fan pages notice that when you send out your link for your fan page name, it's got a whole long string of numbers and letters out beyond it. That means that you haven't claimed your vanity name, and there's a way to do that, and we can do that for you. We will also update your business presence analysis report after we make your updates and set your profiles up, and we will include the usernames and passwords on that spreadsheet so you can continue to maintain them in the future. This special webinar price is just $97, and this is a great deal for you because it's only $10 per posting, per registration, and that's a great start. At least you know you're protected. The second plan we offer is the basic plan, and this is for the more established business person or someone who has a little bit more money to spend and has a bigger concern for their presence, and you should. You really should. We offer the same thing as far as the free business presence analysis report. We will go and register and update your business brand profiles on up to 15 of the social networks and business listing sites, and this is when I mentioned the authors page on Amazon.com. For those of you who have ebooks or books, hardcover books on Amazon.com or any other book site for that matter, you need to have your authors page created because Amazon.com has great position placement when people do searches. So if you have an authors page and you're on Amazon, it will greatly help your visibility on Google when people go searching for you. And for those of you who have a book and would like to have an authors page, we will substitute the creation of the authors page for some of the social network and business listing sites because it'll be better for you this way. You'll get more stronger SEO visibility. We will also brand your profiles with your picture or logo, and if you don't have a picture or logo, we can create one for you. It's all included. We will claim your Facebook vanity name for you. Then we will send you an updated business presence analysis report, including the usernames and passwords. And one additional thing which is really significant for the business owner, we will give you one free online press release containing the information supplied by you. What this means is you will tell us what story, event, or information you want to be covered in your press release. We will create the press release for you. You don't have to write it. We'll create it, and we will publish it. What this does is once we get the press release covered, and we can also do some strategic timing if possible so that you hit the presses at the same time maybe some kind of newsworthy event happens. This gives you visibility, but we can also let your local newspapers or radio stations and others know about your press release. You can send out notices, and this will also help people to find you and know that you're there. Now, our regular price for this basic plan, if you take it offline, is $197. But from this webinar, we will give you a special $50 discount, so you have 100. This is like 25%. You get this webinar or this special media package for $147. Great deal. Our third plan is our vanity plan, and this is for the person who really is more well established or who wants to make sure they got all of the T's crossed and their I's dotted as they go along and start out fresh. This includes everything in the basic plan. Everything I just told you about, you get that. Plus, we will create a cover photo for your fan page. If you know that big, long, skinny photo at the top, if you don't have one, we will create one for you, or we can spruce up the one you have, make it really fancy, and there are lots of options for that, but we can do that for you. We will add new pictures and 1 to 2 videos to your fan page to give you some more activity and generate a buzz. And we will frame your Facebook profile picture, give it some color. Also, this gives it some, it makes it pop and gives it some sizzle. And there's a reason for this, which I will go into in a few minutes. We will link your website to your fan page via your profile page picture and create update your about information. I got cotton mouth, but I've been talking all day. I just got off of a 2-hour appointment, so hey, my lips and tongue are tied. We will update the about information if necessary or put it in if you don't have it. And we will claim your Facebook fan page as your business page. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't even know you can do. It's a little different than your fan page vanity name. This is connecting your actual business name to your fan page. So if you are ABC Beauty Salon and your vanity name is facebook.com/ABC Beauty Salon, that doesn't mean that your name, your business name, is automatically connected to your fan page. Somebody else somewhere else who may have their fan page as BCD Beauty Salon could go in. If their name in some other state is ABC Beauty Salon, they could still connect their fan page to ABC Beauty Salon, and you wouldn't be able to. So it's important to do that, and we can do that for you. It takes a little bit of information to be submitted to Facebook. It takes a couple of days for them to approve it. They just got to verify that you're there, that that's who you are, and then you get that. But it's yours forever once it's claimed. And that's significant, too, especially when you think about other people, your competition in other places. And then we will post 1 to 2 videos online on the online video sites like YouTube and a couple of others we work with. This also helps your Google positioning because YouTube is very sensitive for SEO engines, Panda and Penguin. And there's a couple of other sites that do that too. This can improve your positioning on the internet within a few days. I mean, it can literally take you from like page 6 from a Google search up to page 1 or 2. And like I said, it doesn't take long. And you need to know that. That's important because most people, when they search for a business by category or name even, they'll look like at the first 1 or 2 pages, and if you don't show up in the first 1 or 2 pages, they're likely not to find you. They might go to page 3, but they rarely go past that. So if you're on 4, 5, or 6 or beyond, they're not even going to know you're there. So this is significant. This in and of itself is vital and important to you. And we're going to give it to you for $397. That's $100 off of our regular price of $497. You see, we give a lot of bang for your buck. We give great value even at our regular prices. This package alone is worth over $1,000. So you're getting a real good deal and a discount on top of it. You can't beat that with a stick. So now we're coming to the end of the webinar, and I just want to tell you how you can order your dynamic social media package to get your brand, your business, and your future protected, to ensure that someone is paying attention to what's going on, and at least you know that you have what you need to grow your business and stay current in the market. All you have to do to make your purchase, you select the one you want, and then you can go to Social Media Webinar Special. Now, because we're doing this as a webinar, this link may not be clickable, but I will make it available either on YouTube or on the event page so that you can click. And it simply takes you to my webpage, which is www.thewomanexec.com. That's TheWomanexec, thewomanexec.com. And on the menu, the little menu on the right at the bottom, there's an SM special link. You click on that link, takes you right to the order page. Or you can click on this link or on the link that I'm going to put on the event site or on YouTube, and it'll take you right to the order page. I'm so looking forward to helping you with all of your social media needs, and I hope you realize the importance of getting started now. So don't wait. Now, I said as we got to the end of the webinar, I was going to give you 3 quick tips about how to improve your social media marketing presence and responses. Well, the first one we're going to deal with is email marketing. And this is how you're connected to Facebook's problem with the smartphones. You see, they're an issue for you too. And most companies do use email marketing If nothing else, you use it for sending out announcements and your newsletters. But if you're sending out information about a product you're selling or something like that, if you don't format it correctly, it may not be readable on a smartphone, iPhone, an Android, or even iPad. So you have to be careful, and you need to reformat your emails for a couple of reasons. So limit your email, the length of the line in your emails to 55 to 60 characters max per line. This is to make it easier to read on these devices because their screens are small. And when you make a line longer than 60 characters, they tend to wrap or drop off and misformat. And you want to use basic formats like Arial and Trebuchet so that they will interpret correctly on the various devices and across the different languages because some of your clients are international. Use the return key to make a hard control break at the end of each line to make sure that the formatting it's held, it stays when someone opens your email on their smartphones. More and more people are using smartphones and devices to access their emails and the internet, so you got to be right there with them. Otherwise, your information could be skewed and they may not be able to read it. And then make your paragraphs small, 2 to 3 lines each. First of all, it serves readability. It will hold your reader's attention and allows them to take in your message in small bits. And as we are in this, everything's abbreviated. We are into graphics, pictures. Show me pictures. We don't like to read as much as we used to. And because of all the texting we do, where we're condensing the language to a few, letters as opposed to words, we're getting more and more into show me something I can see at a glance, not something I have to read, understand, and digest. So if a paragraph is more than 3 lines, break it into 2 paragraphs because the way the eye works, it can kind of take in 2 or 3 lines at a time, get the concept, and then it moves on. But if your paragraphs are larger than that, it tends to be really big, especially when you're talking about a 55 to 60 character max line. So you break it into 2 or more paragraphs, and the way you can do that, because I know sometimes you can't complete a thought in just 3 lines, so what you do is you take the first few lines and you end the last line in the paragraph with whatever the last words are, like sample last word of this sentence, ... and then the next paragraph begins with ... the continuation of the sentence you just broke. You can do that, 2 or 3 paragraphs long, but, try to keep your information concise and short so you can convey your messages in as few of words as possible. The second tip is to make your profile picture pop, and that's by doing what we said, placing the frame around your picture, your profile picture. The best color is red. Everybody's eyes are drawn to red. Stop signs, red lights, red dresses. It may not be our favorite color, but it sure gets our attention. Now you can choose another color if you want to fit your, the color scheme of your business or your cover photo or whatever. But red really is the best one, and it works. It really does. It tends to, as it draws the eye, it tends to make people bring their cursors over to the picture and click on it too. Don't ask me why. Don't understand that psychology. Maybe some of you do know why, but at this point in time, all we know is it works. And that brings us to the third tip, and that is that your profile picture or logo is clickable, and you should use it. It's got some usability. Now, some of you may have seen what I call the 10 Commandments of Facebook on my website or my fan page. That's a series of 10 rules, and there are more, but those are the 10 basic rules that Facebook has created that says you can't do these things on your fan page, and if you do, we will shut you down. And believe me, the Facebook police is out there looking, and what will happen is if they find you in violation of these rules, they'll shut your page down. So if your business depends on your fan base and you've got, tens of thousands of people out there, or even if it's just, several thousand, this could be a big problem if you suddenly find out your fan page has been shut down and you go to find it and it's not there, or you get a call from a client saying, we can't find you on Facebook, and then you got to go out and try to hassle with them to get them to reactivate it, and a lot of times they won't. And like I said, it comes without warning. So be safe. Use your clickable profile picture or logo to send messages, because you can't do things like put pricing on your fan page. You can't put coupons. You can't put specials. All of that stuff, though, can be done by using your profile picture, and here's how. When you go to your web page or your fan page, you click on your profile picture, and you see mine has a red frame around it. Well, that's what I'm talking about, and you can do that easily with any photo editor. You just put a frame around your picture and you make it kind of a wide border so that it fills as much of the the profile picture fan page as possible. Doesn't have to fill it completely, but just enough to give the picture a nice frame. So when somebody clicks on your picture, you know, as it is with all Facebook pictures, you can click on them. And it takes you to a page that looks like this. And that little link that says add a description, well, you can click on that. That's a clickable link. And you can add a description about your photos. But guess what? You can put any information in there you want. So you click on that description, and it takes you to a page that looks like this. You see, I've already typed in visit the woman exec at and my website link in that box, but you can add anything, you know, meeting, you know, 4-hour sale at so-and-so, you know, between 8 and noon, come in for 25% off, or, you know, having a blowout sale, you know, at the pizzeria, special, you know, 2 pizzas for $5, come, you know, between 11 and 1 o'clock. You can, where it says who were you with, you can put the place, you can put the address. Where was the photo taken? You can put anything you want in there. These are just leading questions, but the information, the content's up to you. And you can add a date. All you need to do is put that information in there, and then you can post on your fan page, pointing people, telling people, click on my profile, special information, click on my profile picture, you know, something special for you. But anyway, once you put that information in, you click on Done Editing, and it takes you to back to this page. You can see now it contains my message to visit me at my website, and my website is a clickable link. So anybody looking at my picture, when they click on it, comes to this page, and now they can click on my website. They can click on another, if I wanted to create a special page to, you know, for special coupons where they can print them out, all that kind of stuff you can put in here. And you can also edit it. All you have to do is click on edit, go in and change it. You could change it all day long, as often as you want, but it makes it very important. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. I need to go back real quick and cover that. Let me go back to this page. Okay. This is it. You notice this little ad down here under iDental Insurance? You see that red frame around her picture? See how it catches your eye versus the one beneath it, where he seems to be hanging out in space in the middle of nowhere? Well, she's just got a little red frame around it. That's the reason why you want to put a red frame around your picture, because that ad catches your attention, while his is just kind of like, oh, and look at him. He's just, you know, a head hanging out in space. So that's the reason why you want to put a frame around your picture. Even this guy here with the picture, it would be so much more noticeable if it had some color. So remember that. So now we're at the end of the webinar, and I want to thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for attending, and I strongly urge you to please think about your business security. Think about the stories I told you about how this could be happening to you. I have several other clients that I did business presence analyses for, and they found out in some cases there were 2 or 3 other companies in other areas, other states, that had their business name. So while they were able to use it in the state where they were located, they weren't able to use it nationwide, and these businesses had nationwide presences. So they were having to scramble to find alternatives of how they could tweak their name so that they could be present and still be able to use their name wherever they did business. So it's very important for you to know the cyberscape and to know what's on it, particularly when it comes to you, your business's integrity, and your presence. So don't wait. Place your order now. Now this link here that's showing is the link to my website. This is a hard link to the sales page. But if you can't click it, I will put it on the event page as well as on YouTube, so you can get there. Or like I said, you can just go to www.thewomanexec.com and click on the menu link at the right, the SM special link. It'll take you to the sales page. Don't wait, because we're only going to make these packages available for a little while at these low prices. Very soon they're going to go back up. These are exquisite deals. The pricing is fabulous. You couldn't get this kind of service from other people at these prices, not any day of the week. So we want you to order now and take advantage of the special opportunity. Don't wait, because someone could be cyber squatting on your business or brand right now, and you may not even know it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to write me. My email address is below. It's thewomanexec@gmail.com. I made it real simple for you so that you could email me, and not have to remember, what did she say the email address was? It's really simple. It's my company name, thewomanexec@gmail.com, and you will receive an answer from me within one business day. So I thank you very much for joining me on this webinar, for taking your time to listen. I hope you found some value in the information I gave you and that you will take action now and take the steps you need to protect your business, its integrity, and your future by ordering, and we'll get started on protecting you on the cyberscape and make sure you are the only one using your name on the web. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. There we go. Where did we go? Oh no.